Hi, this instructional video is about absolute value. Many times when teachers are asked what's an absolute value, we use a number line, starting with the origin. And we ask the students like, well, you tell me, how many units is positive 3 away from the 0? How many units is 3 away from the 0? From the origin, that is. And they go, well, from the origin it is 1, 2, 3. 3 units away from the origin. Then we ask the students, well then how many units is negative 3 away from the origin? And they go, well that's 1, 2, 3. That's also 3 units away from the origin. And then we go, there it is. That's what an absolute value is. Absolute value of negative 3 means how many units is negative 3 away from the origin? So you say 3. Then we go, then what is absolute value of 3? How many units is positive 3 away from the origin? Then you say, oh, that's 3 also. Yeah, that's all there is. So in this case, absolute value of 4. I'm asking you, on the number line that is, how many units is 4 away from the origin? Then you say, psh, that's easy. That's just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 units away. And that's true. That's the right answer. Then you know what number 2 is. Go ahead, take a guess. If you said, well, that's 7 units away from the origin, and that is the correct evaluation of absolute value. Then we have an expression here. Then you say, well, what is this? Well, go ahead and evaluate it. What's 8 minus 5? Well, 8 minus 5 is 3. Still inside the absolute value symbol, so you still have to evaluate the absolute value. So what is absolute value of 3? You say, well, that's 3. And that's correct. Then here's a peculiar looking one. 4 minus 13. That's like saying, if you have $4 in the bank, and you take out $13, you're going to end up owing money to the bank. How much do you owe? Well, you're going to say, well, that's like saying negative 9. Yeah, but the question is then, what is the absolute value of negative 9? Well, it becomes 9. And that's correct also. So that was easy. So then we move on to equations. The question is now, all right, now we're going to go backwards. Remember the number line? The question was, how many units is 3 away from the 0? And how many units is negative 3 away from the 0? Now the question is, where can you be from the 0 if you were to move 4 units? So we're going to bring back the number line again, and this time from the origin, we're going to move 4 units from the origin. And on the number line, there's 2 possible ways to go. You could either go right 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then that would be positive. Or you could go left and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Where will you be? Negative 4. So the absolute value for negative 4 and 4 is in fact 4. So the question is, where can you be with 4 units away from the origin? The x can be either 4 or negative 4. Did you see that? Yeah. Now, number 6. Where can you be if you went 2/3 unit away from the origin, the 0? Did you do it yet? If you said x is equal to negative 2/3 or positive 2/3, you'll be right. Number 7, here's a little tricky part. You have to kind of think about this one. Can you do it? If you said absolute value of what will give me 2, you said it could be either 2 or negative 2. Well, how do you make this x minus 4 become 2? That's when you have to use this absolute value equation where you set up the equation 2 ways. Whatever you get, it better be equal to, or whatever you get, it can also equal negative 2. Because if the inside was negative 2, wouldn't that also be 2 as well? If you make it absolute value? So this is how you set it up when you solve an absolute value equation. And you'll see more about that on the next segment of this instructional video. To solve this one, you add 4 to both sides of the equation. So on the left side of the equation, the negative 4 cancels because they're additive inverse. So you get x is equal to 2 plus 4, which is 6. So you could put 6 in there. 6 minus 4 is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. And if you solve this one by adding 4, x is equal to 10, then negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2. So if you put a 2 in there, 2 minus negative 4 is negative 2. And negative 2 absolute value is still 2. Number 8. This one's a little puzzler. When we took an absolute value of any number, did we ever say negative? Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. Did we ever say negative? No. When we talk about absolute value, we're not talking about direction. We're talking about the number of units. So can something ever become negative 5 if you make it absolute value? No. So in this case, you say no solution. Nice try, but no solution.